I'd like to call the April 7th, 2025 Harbor Commission regular meeting to order. If you're able, please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Chair Gabriel,
Here.
Vice Chair Reveal,
Here.
Commissioner Moffus,
Here.
Commissioner Rohr,
Here.
Commissioner Sardi.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there a motion to appoint and reappoint a chair?
I make a motion to appoint Jeannie Reveal to chair.
Do I
I
have a second?
accept the nomination.
I second.
Very good. I would entertain unanimous consent. As requested.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Seeing no objection, Ms. Reveal is the new chair.
That's me. All right. Is there a motion to appoint or reappoint the vice chair?
I motion Vice Chair Mr. Moffus.
Is there a second?
I second.
I'll ask unanimous consent on that.
And I'll ask for unanimous consent. No objections, we'll appoint Mr. Moffus as the vice chair. Congratulations. And is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
I second.
Are there any revisions to the agenda? Hearing none, no objections, and so we'll approve the agenda. We have no scheduled public comments at this time. However, we do have some unscheduled public comments at this time. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on any item not appearing on the agenda? Please state your name and where you're from.
All right, it's been a while since I've been up here. Robert Peterkin, 1322 Loudon Drive. Live in Kenai for 57 years. So, I've been talking to Lisa a little bit, and former commissioner, I sit up there where you guys sit, and council member. And I guess the biggest reason that I'm here, and I'm probably going to continue to be here a little more often, is I'm sort of lobbying to get interest to build a harbor in Kenai. And that's really why this commission was originally set up. My dad served on it in the 70s, and I'm going to try to get him here maybe the next meeting or the meeting after. He has a box of that he saved of proposals for harbors that were for the city of Kenai that one reason or another they didn't do them. But I've worked here my entire life, and I own different companies. One that I own right now is called Triangle Recycling, and we ship about 5 to 10 million pounds of steel to Homer every year, and we ship it out of Homer because there's not a deep water port here that can take a big boat. And my competitor on K Beach does the same. Marathon Refinery ships about 20 million, 50 million pounds of sulfur down to leave. I mean, half of that tote and Horizon van in Anchorage gets trucked over the highway to Kenai. That could get dropped off right here. Adds about $2,000 a load to all our goods that come to Kenai. So I think it's time that we look at maybe building a deep water port and a boat harbor. I mean, for half them boats in the Homer Harbor say Kenai on them, and they fish right out here. So, and I know a lot of them commercial fishing boats that are in the river, if there was a harbor with stalls, they would probably utilize them. So anyway, Todd was supposed to come tonight. I hope he makes it. I don't know, maybe something got crossed up, but he is the local manager for Sispri, and they have this prevention spill and response. And I know that they store all their big barges in Homer for the winter because they have to keep them on the water in case there's an oil spill. And they have been running the Bob Franco and the big boats out of Homer going to the platforms back and forth because the two docks we had in Nikiski, one OSK fell in the water, so it's no longer a dock. And the other one is it goes dry every day, and it's not a deep water port. So they can get in there on high tide if it's convenient and load things and get out. But when you have an oil spill or you've got something big going on, it's generally not at high tide. It tends to need to come and go from the dock all the time. So there's just so much economics that could come from a harbor in this town. And where I wanted and proposed to do it was that stretch of road that goes kind of from Wildwood to the corner. I used to call it Larry's Club Corner, but the corner just be north of town. And I just, there's 3 or 4 landowners there, buy up that land and terrace it down and go out about a mile into the half mile out in the ocean with riprap and put a deep water port in that can take big boats, little boats, every kind of boats. And that's my story.
Any of the commissioners have questions for Mr. Peterkin?
I do, thank you. So Robert, the plans that your dad has, the proposals that he has, is that where they talked about doing that deep water port? Or
The only ones, I looked at 2 or 3 of them. The box is pretty big. I haven't dug into it. All the ones that I saw were to build in the river. And I think that's mostly been the past plans. I think that today we should look bigger than that with all the projects and things coming. There's a lot, like I go down to Seattle all the time, and in the Fraser River and the Port of Tacoma and all, those are big rivers and they're deep. But Kenai River it'd probably need to really be dredged a lot and to bring big boats in, and it's very tidal and it's I would recommend you go out beyond where you're affected by tide or anything. And all the ones I saw that my dad had were all to be built in the river. I just thought it'd be interesting for you guys to have them for archives to look at and stuff. Yeah.
that's a concept I hadn't heard before, is to actually take it out of the river and put it out, in that area, so.
I think you really, really need to be. If you look at Homer, you look at, like Kodiak, they have a container ship where they take containers off, like the tote containers and Horizon and that. You gotta be out in deep water. You bring in a big tanker, you gotta stick out there ways. And like the Port of Anchorage is in Cook Inlet, just like this. We don't need one that big, but I think it was Anchorage and Homer, I think in this last, when Biden gave away the billions of dollars, I think they each got like $1 billion for adding onto their ports. And I'm just thinking, man, if we had a plan or preliminary plan or put out for some grants or, I think there'd be a lot of interest. And we have this pipeline coming. I mean, right now they're I have another company that helps haul pipe to the slope. They're doing long pipe, doing 100-foot long, 3 pipes per trailer. There's probably 200 of them a day going to the North Slope, coming out of Valdez and Whittier. and some of it by train, and then it goes to Fairbanks and then hits there. But with all the things coming, if it truly happens, I don't know if this gas line thing will happen or not, but if it does, that could, I don't know that it'd ever even be built in time, but it'd be useful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? No? Great. I think it's a great idea.
Cool.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You're talking like the end of Cook Inlet Drive, right?
Well, I think I'd go, that's right where mom and dad live. So
Sorry.
I think I'd go a little bit this side of it, more like where, maybe where Jackie McGann and them, like a little bit this side of them, get past the housing and stuff.
Like the end of Redoubt
Yeah.
on the other side?
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
And I don't know, it's been a long time. I know Dr. Hanson, Royce Roberts, and Jesse Wade they were like three major property holders. And, I don't know what happened to Royce's. It's probably in a trust or something, and Jesse's still around here. Yeah, and Doc Hanson, Caroline's here. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't think you'd have to buy out like 100 property owners. I think it's all pretty, and the city owns a pretty good chunk of that as well. So, and if you terrace that, kind of like the city of Homer is, just, it would give you a big landing. If you pushed all that dirt down, it would push you out into it and then start the harbor to where you got past that, and then you dredge up more and bring in armor rock. We have an endless supply of armor rock in Alaska. I mean, there's just endless supply of it, very close by.
Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Food for thought. So just a reminder to state your name and where you're from. Thank you.
Yeah, my name's Tom Pelgrim. I live on 113 Deepwood Court in Kenai. I've been here 35 years. Former CEO, president of Peak Oilfield Service Company. My wife and I have been on the west side of Cook Inlet for 35 years, set netting, and family married into the village of Tyonek when my oldest boy. So we have used the port of Kenai for years to move freight and fuel and fish and guiding. And I've kind of seen over the years to where, the harbor is very limited now. The fuel's gone, and now the dip netters own the river during the month of July. So it's kind of sad to see what's happened in one regard, but, from my experience within the oil field, there was a tremendous amount of commerce that could have transacted right here. But instead, it was all out north, and today, the majority of it's been shifted to Homer. So I was really intrigued when Robert asked me to speak here to see if we could plant some seeds and kick some things around and see if we couldn't make something happen. But that's my 2 cents.
Any questions?
Thank you, Tom. No questions. I did happen to meet you, I believe your granddaughter, Courtney, this summer.
Yeah,
Yeah, she worked with us on our set seine for a while, so I
Yeah,
just wanted to
good-
say that.
good little
Great
girl.
worker. Commercial fishing girl, I can tell.
oh, I love it. Thank you.
Tom, before you go, do you think you have any kind of support from businesses that would be willing to use that port? Is that something you guys could stir up for us? Some,
I believe we could. Once we had something on paper, we were actively looking at something, whether it be through a grant. It's just like the pipeline, right?
mm-hmm,
It's like it's hanging out there, and if you see hope, you're gonna draw some attention.
right? So you're looking at more of like a if you build it, they will come kind of thing.
I would think.
Yeah. And how deep is it going to have to be? 60, 80 feet of draft? How deep do you think the port will be?
Well, I think Robert can speak to that better based on what he loads out within steel. And Mr. Rohr probably knows a lot about that as well. His west side experiences in barging.
Well, I don't want to speak for them, but I know activity's not slowing down, and I know that everything they've bought, they can't use, and they are shipping everything to Homer. And it's not slowing down anytime soon, so.
Thank you for your time. Yeah, that's not a problem. So we have approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the February 10, 2025 minutes?
Motion to approve the February 10, 2025 minutes.
Thank you. A second?
I second.
Are there any revisions to the minutes? No. Are there any objections to approving the minutes? No. Hearing no objections, the minutes are approved. Okay, new business. Well, we have unfinished business, but we don't have any. So new business. Call for a staff report. Mr. Fry?
Yes, thank you. So I just put this discussion item on here as a discuss work plan implementation. I know the last time we met, we were kind of having some discussion around, what does the Harbor Commission do? So I guess I just wanted to put this on here as a kind of an open discussion item among the commission members here to figure out if there was one of the goals or something that everybody wanted to target and start trying to move forward with, or what everybody's thoughts were on moving forward, or, new agenda items for next meetings and stuff like that. Because right now, I mean, we don't, I don't have anything tremendous except for the next discussion item where I put on I know everybody wanted to schedule a dock site meeting, so, but other than that, I didn't have anything, in the horizon to put on our agenda, so just kind of opening that up for discussion. Thank you.
So my question would be, where are we at with the city? We're waiting for the bluff erosion project to be finished. Is that what we're waiting for before we start beginning the first steps of starting the harbor project? Do we need that bluff erosion to be finished? I mean, not just money-wise, but as steps to go.
So the Bluff project is planned to be done this summer. Regardless, they're supposed to be done by the end of the year, calendar year. Supposed to start May 16th. So beyond that, I'm not sure what you mean by waiting for other things to start.
How much money can we throw at it at once is what I'm saying. We're going to be spending some money on the bluff erosion project, is that right? Or is it's not a matching grant, it's funded by ACOE?
We do have some local funds. I don't have the exact numbers in my head, but the bulk of the project is being funded with state funds grant funds that we've already received.
And so has the city identified the first step to begin the harbor project?
What do you mean by harbor project?
Are we going to start clearing ground or down on the harbor?
Are you talking about the waterfront revitalization plan?
Yes.
That I don't know. I'm not sure if there's any direct plans. I know a lot of that is more in the hands of private development.
Okay.
Because a lot of it is properties that they'd be selling off that would be commercial development purposes. So I wasn't directly involved when the plan was kind of put together, so I'd
Right.
have to refresh my memory on that and see. I don't think we had anything on the 5-year capital plan currently for investing money down there, but it's certainly something that we could look at putting down there in the future. But right now, that's not on city council's agenda to do
Okay.
anything. So if you wanted to make recommendations for specific things to get to city council, then that would be, in the commission's purview.
Okay, let me think about that for a second. Anybody else? Okay, moving on to discussion number 2 for new business, schedule a date for the Kenai Dock site visit.
And I did want to say I am probably going to be up in Anchorage on the 12th for a meeting. I may be able to get in there and zoom in for that meeting on the 12th. So I would be unable to be on site for a site visit meeting on May 12th, which is the next meeting.
Okay. Is everybody going to be available on May 12th? Do we have anybody that's? I know you will.
I will not be available.
Okay. Dominique, are you trying to come on? Are you going to be available May 12th?
Hi, sorry. I was looking at my calendar. I will be
Okay.
available May 12th.
Great.
Do we have a time or are we still trying to go through that?
Well, like, would we want to try and maybe look at the June 9th meeting? Just because, I mean, I won't be able to be present for the May 12th meeting.
That's totally fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be
So
present for
how
that one.
about, Dominique, June 9th? Does that work for you?
June 9th works
Yes.
fine.
Okay. Is that okay with you?
Works for me.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I can be available.
Okay, June 9th. Is that good for you, Ms. Fry?
Yeah, I will work with the clerk's office to get that set up. I'm not sure the steps we have to go through. I know there's a couple things to set an off-site meeting officially, so I will work with them to get that going.
And would you like to move into your report?
Thank you. So, as we discussed, the Bluff project is ongoing. We've got a regular biweekly call on that project tomorrow with Corps of Engineers and the contractor. So things are moving forward with that project, expected to kick off on May 16th, as I mentioned. All the rock's already made, so they're kind of gearing everything up so that they can get in here and get started and hit the ground running once that time allows them to start. So the plan is essentially for them to go as long as it takes and get it all done this year. So everything should be done at some point, I'm guessing, October-ish, somewhere around that timeline. Beyond that, the other things we have going on down there is the dock is currently open. I think this is the earliest we've opened it in years. We got it opened on last Thursday on the 3rd. So the floats are all in and the dock is open. We've been getting a lot of calls from people wanting to get their boat in the water this early. So we were able to get that moving. And then other things are we have started some purchases for lumber and materials to be building new floats. So we're hoping to build those this winter with our staff in-house. So we've got a lot of materials moving for that. We still need to order some floats, and then once we get all that moving, we'll start with some work this winter on redoing some of the concrete on the ramps as well. So that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. I don't have a report. I'm new. So you don't have one either. Okay, great. So there won't be a chair report this time. City Council Liaison, Councilmember Casena, may we have your report, please?
You may, thank you. There's been several city council meetings since we last met, so I'm just gonna summarize it in a broad stroke, and if you want me to talk about anything specifically, I will. But there's been a ton of accepting of funds and donations for things like the library, taxidermy for the airport, some special funds for a dedicated dugout at the softball fields. There was a ton of amended code for purchasing insurance, changing the arbitration panel, which is this weird panel that had lifelong dedicated roles, and most people didn't know they were still on it, or they had could no longer participate. And then some other code changes that helped with just general employee or business for the city. Some contracts for fencing, some leased land for Aleutian Air, some special permits for the float plane basin, lots of renewed liquor and marijuana licenses. Sold some property to Preferred Plumbing, as it turns out. They had developed that property for a number of years, and so that was sold to them. Changed some zoning on South Forest Drive to business instead of residential. And they started the process of donating some land on Redoubt Avenue for some more low-income and senior or low-income senior housing, which would increase the capacity to, I think, 54 additional beds for both of those groups. So And then had several presentations from some folks requesting funds, like Kenai Watershed Forum, gave 2 presentations, and that housing development group. So, and that's it for me.
Thank you very much for your report. Now it's time for additional public comments. We see that our new guest is here. Are there any member? Yeah, just the mic's over there. Tell us your name and where you live, please. And thank you.
Good evening. My name's Todd Paxton. I live in Nikiski. That is my beautiful wife over there, Jane. Thanks for the opportunity to address you guys this evening. I realize I think I missed the 10-minute window, so I'll keep it brief. So I work for CISPRI, Cook Inlet Spill Prevention and Response Incorporated. We're a member-owned cooperative oil spill removal organization. We're based out of Nikiski. Regulatorily wise, we're required through the Coast Guard and ADEC to be in place on behalf of our members. Our members include Marathon Petroleum Corporation, Hillcorp, Delta Western, and quite a few other fuel shippers bringing jet fuel into the port of Alaska. I was asked here tonight just kind of speak a little bit about the need of harbor infrastructure here in Kenai. I can tell you as a person here that deals with Central Inlet challenges almost on a daily basis, having some kind of harbor, frankly, would be a game changer. And I can't even count all the positive ways that that would affect this town, in my opinion. You know, just to start with some of the positive benefits. It was about 5 years ago, Paul Ostrander was still the city manager. He's a friend of mine. He called me up and asked me to come take a look at their fuel dock down at the city dock, the fuel facility. And he asked what he thought I would recommend as far as how can they best reduce the risk of a spill and what can we do to clean up spills down there. After looking at it very closely, I gave him my recommendation, which is stop selling fuel there. I mean, if you lose fuel there in the river, it's a bad situation. You're not going to get it right there at the point of the spill. It's going to go either upriver or downriver, and you're going to have the resulting cleanup. So my simple response to him was you reduce the risk by just eliminating it, and that was my recommendation. Hence, if you had a harbor, you have a calm water body, can be isolated from the river. All of that stuff can take place in a safe, environmentally makes sense kind of manner. And so, you know, that's just one of the many, many benefits that a harbor would bring to the Kenai, city of Kenai. The other thing that we operate is a contract fishing vessel fleet. We have about 70 vessels under contract, and that's to help supplement our initial response to an oil spill if there was to be one. All of those vessels are based out of Homer for the most part, due primarily because they have the infrastructure to support the fishing fleet, which, you know, here in the summer, as you know, we moor boats out in the Kenai River. It's limited, very limited, and we do use some of those boats, but my point being, it would be nice to have a bigger, I guess, more boats available for that here in Kenai. It would make a big deal in terms of potential spill response. So spill response all day long in terms of a positive benefit from a harbor. I don't think I have to necessarily preach to you all about the positive benefits of a harbor, but I will if you want. I think, you know, from a socioeconomic impact, it's huge to the city of Kenai, and frankly, the already high property prices over there in Cannery Loop would go crazy because I kind of envisioned it would be over there by the old canneries and whatnot. But again, I just probably hit my 3 minutes, but I just want to reiterate the support from CISPRI on a potential harbor, and we're 100% in support of that, and I'll do whatever I can to further that effort. With that said, we also strongly support the Homer Harbor expansion. I'm all about infrastructure that, you know, brings marine assets into a safe harbor and lets us kind of build on that. So that's what I got. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
So do you guys have plans of forming a working group or something like that to possibly move this idea forward and start bringing your interest to the councils and back to our committee?
Mrs. Gabriel, that's an excellent question, and while we haven't quite got there yet, I would strongly support that and be a advocate of that for sure.
Sounds like a really interesting plan. My next question is, are you anticipating building a break wall out from the beach to house this, like, kind of Homer has there?
You know, that's a
Cove
great
break wall.
question too, and I've thought about this a bit since being approached by Robert. And, you know, there's a lot of different kind of harbors to consider. And I think the easy answer there is I'm not sure what that looks like, because I think we kind of got to drill down on what's the fit for purpose harbor for Kenai. I don't think it's a full-on harbor like Homer Harbor necessarily, but I think it's, again, a fit for purpose boat launch, small boat harbor that, you know, does it need a breakwater? I don't know. There's some engineers out there that design that for a living, and we would just need to kind of drill down on what user groups would benefit most from the facility there and kind of help answer that question.
I was just telling Mr. Peterkin, I had not thought of it being outside of the river, you know, and stuff, so.
Well, I was
That's an
thinking of it
interesting
more
concept.
in the river, using the river mouth to kind of protect it a bit. But then there's the dredging issue and all that kind of, and the shore fast ice that comes in the winter. So even if it's a seasonal harbor, I see that as a huge, you know, bonus to the community in terms of use and whatnot. So it's an interesting question for sure on what that should look like exactly.
They could come back and present.
So, I'm new at this, it's my first day.
You're doing great, man.
Thank you. If you guys would like to put together a presentation, just kind of break it down for us in bullet points and tell us exactly what your target is, what size ships your target is. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be pulling in LNG tankers, but, you know, you could be pulling in some smaller tankers or even maybe something from the Marine Highway. Who knows, right? Wouldn't that be great to have Kenai as a port? Exactly. So something of that nature, if you guys could put together something like that, get in touch with our person to get on the agenda. And man, that would be wonderful because we could recommend it and kick it on up to the city council and have them take a look at it. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I know.
I like giving assignments. It's great. Sorry. The next meeting is May 12. Is anyone planning to be absent or attending remotely? You're going to be here? You're going to be here?
I will be traveling, but
You'll
we'll
be
try to attend remotely.
Okay, perfect. Dominique?
Yes, I will be in person, and I appreciate you, the accommodation for this meeting.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. Okay, and commissioner comments and questions? Matt? Zach?
Nope.
Lisa?
I'm going to just congratulate Matt for being vice chair. It's a great position, and thank you, Jeannie, for accepting the chair.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. The only comments I have is that I appreciate everything, you know, we kind of have this slow roll where we're working on projects and it does take time, and I appreciate everybody's patience in helping us get through this. We do serve a vital function in the city as far as being able to take these kinds of presentations and be able to get them refined so that we can present them on to the mayor, because I think a harbor in Kenai is essential. Everybody around us has a harbor. We're the only ones that don't, and I think we're missing out. So I would agree with these gentlemen that this is a great idea. Having no other questions, would you, oh, Sorry. Dominique, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions or comments. More or less just, congratulations on the 2 chair positions. That was amazing. And, it's just love to see new ideas like this, bringing Kenai up to kind of the competitive level with all the other towns around us.
Thank you. So having no further, you guys don't have any comments? Okay. No further comments or questions, we will be adjourned. Thank you.